other guy that I was really impressed with, who I wish I could see more in the movie before they shot his ass, was Algie Smith.
Poor Algie Smith. Every time he's in a movie, he's getting abused by the cops.
What was that's Detroit?
Yeah.
Brother, you need to make an animated movie or something. Huh?
There's just something about your face that makes a cop want to beat it or shoot it.
Yeah, maybe he should play a cop. They'll still shoot his ass. Yeah, maybe he should play a bullet. Let's go ahead and get into the hate you give. People are like, what? Who? To where? And I know this is not a movie that a lot of people might have heard of. It's a smaller release. But a lot of people are saying, we wish it was bigger, or spread the word, because not only is it getting a lot of critical praise, but people are saying not only is it one of the best movies of the year, but one of the most important movies of the year. If you happen to see this, it says a lot about the state of race relations, racism, police brutality, murder at the hands of police, some of the things that plague the black community, but also just poor people in general. And let's go ahead and watch the trailer for this. And I'll tell you what it's about real quick before we get into it. Amandla Stenberg, she plays Star. Star is hanging out at a party one night with her black friends, which is hard because she has to have dual personalities. She goes to almost an all-white school, where she can't be too black. But then she goes to the parties in her neighborhood, which are all by black people, and she goes there one night with her childhood friend, who's handsome guy, like they got a little something going on, and her family is a good family that she's in. But this one night is about to tear this family apart because, as we've seen too many times in the news, the kid is a victim of a police shooting. Moved too quickly. Police shot him. And this is about how she deals with that, being caught between two different worlds, and how this is kind of tearing both those worlds apart for her. Let's go ahead and take a look at
as well as her family.
As well as her families. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer, and we'll be back with our review.
Out of the car.
Go back, let's go. What did you do?
I ain't named you Star by accident.
Damn, the one time they let Amandla Stenberg get with a black dude and they killed that brother. I used to say, why don't this girl ain't gonna be with no black dude? Why don't they let this happen? And then I thought, like, nah, maybe she's better off with white guys. Because in every movie she's been with a white dude, even in this one.
No, it's funny. I didn't even think about it. So I was talking to my daughter about it. She was the one who pointed that out to me. I was like, oh yeah. I guess that's true.
Yeah, it was
because even she's got a couple other movies coming up where her romantic lead is a white guy.
Yeah, I'm almost a little insulted by this. The one time she get with
say, like, I tried it, see what happened.
Yeah, they kill these Negroes when I kiss them. It's a kiss of death, literally. Can't do it. But on a serious note here, man, this is based on a 2017 novel, which is of the same name by Angie Thomas. So this was picked up real quick and made into a film because a lot of people felt like it was an important thing to put out there.
Topical.
Very topical. Like we got to get this out here quickly. And with the film working so well with certain people, it's not a surprise at all. It's very obvious to many people probably why this is getting praised so much. I mean, everything checks out with it. It's a well-directed film, some great performances in there. As we said, it's very topical. But it's been a long time since you've had a movie like this tap into the emotional state of black people in a long time, man. I mean, there's a lot of movies out there that do it. I mean, we can name Detroit and everything, but this movie really puts it out there in a way that I think it's probably can be consumed more mainstream, where it tells you of what the black state emotional state is like, because it touches on a lot of things. One, we talked about the double life that Star leads, and with her leading a double life, that addresses all of us, man. We black people have, and look, I know, and I'm speaking from the black experience. I know every race in every category has their problems. I'm not saying that we are special people, but You know, one of the things that is a problem with us is that it's not that we want to lead a double life or more.
It feels necessary.
We have to.
Yeah. This is the first movie, at least I can remember, that has addressed this kind of, you know, double life, this code switching in a way that wasn't comical.
Yeah.
Treated like a farce, where it's like, no, this is a real thing.
Yeah,
that we're doing all the time.
Yeah, it's a joke, man. You've heard probably a lot of people tell the joke, like, you know, my mama has her black voice when she's at home, and when she gets on the phone to talk to the credit guy, she got to come to the school. She got her white voice or something. You know, it's that's you know, it's a joke and it's funny sometimes, but a lot of times it's out of necessity. You got to do this if you want to get a loan for something.
Yeah,
you got to do that if you want to get a job. When you do get that job, I mean, even something that we don't consider to be too black can be too black for that environment.
Sure. And that's the thing she goes on about, is how if I'm the only black girl in this school, if I do anything, they're going to be quick to typify me as like, oh, there's the ghetto girl.
Yeah, exactly.
So she has to overcompensate. And it'd be nice to be able to be like, oh, girl, you being paranoid. You should relax. But when you hear it, you watch it, you're like, no, baby, you know what you're doing.
No, right. I was making jokes at when I started doing the last site Spill. I was making jokes because that was my job to do that on what we do. And not that I was insulted, but I was just making regular jokes. But this was over in Britain, and one dude said, you know, I love it when you're talking jive. I'm like, oh, you mean like just making jokes like a jive? Is Britain like 30 years behind? Are y'all still in the 70s? Am I a jive turkey too? I love it when you talk jive. Like, talking, man.
It's like the white cop on Sanford and Son.
Yeah. Excuse me, I speak jive. Man, I'm just talking, man. That's all I'm doing.
Sanford, last night I had some of those hammer hocks and black-eyed rice.
Look, I don't want to give some big sob story. This is not us to stop this and talk about, oh, my poor experience.
Nah.
It's not that, but this movie's on some real shit, man. I'm just putting you on the real when I talk about it. This movie covers the pain, the constant pain that black people have to carry, you know, their whole lives, man. There's a constant pain to you seeing people murdered by people supposed to protect you. You know, there's the racism that keeps the cycle going. There's that pain that's always there that has to be managed and checked and not turn into anger in the wrong spot or something that's going to break you down in a really bad emotional state. You know, it's heartbreaking, and you see it in this movie here.
Sure. I mean, yeah, because they start off talking about Stars explaining how her dad explained to them when they were little kids, this is what you do when the police pull you over. Hands on the dashboard, keep your head down, don't make eye contact, yes sir, no sir. Pretty much it is not different than taking it back to the times of slavery, when the overseer comes around, or a white person comes in, you know, after that, it's like you bow, you scrape.
You get off the sidewalk when they're walking.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, I was saying earlier, that's why I have a new thing with horror, man, where I'm not as horrified by Michael Myers or Freddy or somebody because, you know, or Supernatural, because, you know, this shows the horror in real life.
Sure.
The more you learn about your history, you realize that while other people are looking at horror movies and cringing from them and be like, oh, this is only a movie. You know, like the horror that black people have to live through, grotesque horror, lynchings, burnings, all, you know, this kind of brings all this movie alone, why it doesn't go into all that history, it really does bubble up all these feelings that you have, that you carry with you, and because it captures it so well, what they do here, you know?
Well, Michael Myers, he's supposed to kill you. I mean, he's a big guy with a knife.
Great point.
And you know you're supposed to, but these are the police who are supposed to protect you. And a big part of the population, they do protect.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's an excellent point, Martin. That's great put. That's greatly put. It's also talking about poverty, man, and the cycles of poverty that keeps people in, which affects a lot of people.
Yeah, sure.
Of different races. In different classes. I mean, you know, it's something that I understand that everybody goes through, but you know, sometimes those things are unique to certain people. And you know, when they talk about, that's where you have in here you have Russell Hornsby, And Russell Hornsby, let me find a picture of him right here. Russell Hornsby plays Star's father. Let me see if I can find a picture of him. There he is right there. Russell Hornsby plays her father. Now, you probably have seen, I haven't seen this guy in too many movies. I know that he played Denzel Washington's son in Fences.
That's the only thing I actually know him from.
Me too. I mean, I remember him coming in. He's the one like, hey, Dad, let me hold $10 real quick. You know? Boy, you ain't going to pay me back. What's up? Oh, he's on Grimm.
Oh, Grimm. That's right.
Which they have in Lincoln Heights. Grimm is also having a sequel come out or a spinoff, so maybe he'll be in that too. I don't know. But in the film, he talks about the cycle of poverty within the black community, and talks about thug life. Tupac had thug life on his stomach, tattoo on his stomach. It was something that he constantly championed. A lot of people thought, okay, well that just means you just being a gangster, and you causing shit and living a dangerous life. A ruthless, dangerous life. And that's not what it meant at all. That's the name of the movie, The Hate You Give. And he talks about a lot of that hate coming from the very beginning when you were born and put in the cycle in the community where you are taught that you have no other option but to deal drugs. And you think it's going to be a way out, but it's not. That those drugs are meant to actually tear your life apart and keep you stuck in that community, in that job, until your life is either destroyed by death or jail.
It's thug life.
I know what it stands for. Why else you think so many people in our neighborhood deal?
They need the money.
So they fall into the trap.
That's something that a lot of even black people don't know.
Yeah, he breaks it down in a way where everybody can understand it.
And it's great to see in these because back in the 90s, this would have been a hood movie.
Right.
And it's great to see an actual father here being a father, a black man being a father, for his boys and his girls. Well, and his girl.
And not somebody who was always such, but somebody who had been in trouble, who had been to jail.
Yeah.
Who saw the light and straightened his life up and is fighting to hold on to it and still has things from his past pulling at him. It's I think the most amazing thing about this movie is how many facets there are to it. It covers so many different topics, so many different issues. And normally when that happens, I'll walk away going like, yeah, you just try to do too much and end up doing nothing. But I was like, no, they did a good job of covering all of it.
You make a great point, because one of the things that it covers is it covers how what we talked about with the hashtag movement, or not hashtag, but hashtag what would you call it? Like everybody on Facebook putting up their changing their profiles and activists. What you call it? Hashtag activists or hacktivists?
Yeah. Was it hacktivists? Is that the term?
Hacktivists. Yeah. We talk about this whole thing with because it captures a lot of things, but one of the things it talks about is
slacktivism.
Slacktivists. There you go. Hashtag culture. Where because you made a hashtag out of something, you change your profile.
Yeah.
Because because you said hashtag blank blank blank. All of a sudden you've done something. It shows it here where this Always school she goes to. They try to do a response to Black Lives Matter. They think that they're really doing something for the kid that got shot. Turns out a lot of them
don't even know who he is.
They don't know who he is. They don't know. They really don't know about the movement. It's just something popular to do, and they just want to get out of school. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's something that goes beyond racial issues. People pull out that hashtag when someone, when there's a mass shooting.
Yeah.
When they hear about something they don't even know about, but they jump on the bandwagon for it. So I always need to pull that hashtag out.
Update. I want to send out my hopes and prayers to the victims of blah blah blah.
It was really. I thought it was seamless the way they put that in the film right here. Some of the things that I will criticize the movie for. One is I love the performances in the film, and I really look, Anthony Mackie. He's one of my favorite actors out there. I love this guy, but in the movie he plays a drug dealer. And he's like a drug dealer from a TV movie or something.
After him being the Falcon, he comes on here and he's not all that threatening.
I'm glad to see him try to play a villain, but just sprout them wings and fly.
Well, he's had a bunch of different, I guess, roles he's played, and some have worked and some not so much. Like him and She Hate Me, his first movie.
That was a long. You can't hold that against. That was a long time ago.
Then there was that basketball movie he did, Crossover.
Yeah,
and it was just like, it's odd seeing him in these things. But there's certain roles where he works perfectly, and here it was. I guess it seemed all right at first because you didn't know what he was about. But the longer it went on, you saw his character. You're like, yeah, he doesn't really fit this.
He was drug dealer villainous. He was just a villain from an average movie.
Yeah,
he really didn't. Anthony Mackie's great. Like I said, I'm glad to see him try and be somewhat of a villain. But the weight of that character, the way it was written, did not match the weight of this movie.
Well, the thing is with this movie, I had problems with it in the very beginning. Mm-hmm. In the very beginning, we're with Star, and she's doing voiceover narration, and I thought it was very kind of TV movie-ish, or just I was like, oh, it's George Tillman who does the barbershop sequels.
Yeah,
and it just had that kind of feel to it, and I was nervous because I was just feeling like, oh no, man! Everybody's loving it. Am I going to be the asshole, the one who doesn't like this movie? And like, I'm going to sure, I'll appreciate what it's about, but the rest of it. But then, right before the shooting, they drop all that. The narration goes away, and it really does dig more into the family. And then once the shooting happens, it's a completely different movie from that point.
Yeah. And I like that you brought up George Tillman Jr. because he's the one that did, and Martin, I could tell you weren't going to probably like it for a little while because not only did he do Soul Food, but it probably took you back to that time that kid threw that rock at you.
Oh yeah. That's
he did Notorious.
Notorious, yeah.
Man, that is the funniest story I've ever heard. Martin was talking about he went on the one time Martin went to a junket in New York. They put him. I've never gone through this. It was so weird. It was for Notorious. What the hell? They put you on a school bus.
Yeah,
and drove you to the theater in the school bus.
Yeah, they put us on school buses to drive us around the neighborhood that Biggie grew up in. So he took us to the restaurant where he used to buy meat pies, and they pointed out the corner where he sold drugs, and we passed by his elementary school, and that's where a kid threw a rock at our bus.
Some kid just came out and just threw a rock. I like to think he threw the rock at you. It just makes it funny. I remember we had spill. Somebody called themselves the kid that threw that rock.
That's a big ass rock too.
It must have been Tupac. He lives. But yeah, man, the reason why I think that's a good point you bring up because if you watch those movies, I like Soul Food. I even like Notorious. I don't think Notorious is that great.
No, I don't dislike it.
But I do think that George Tillman Jr.'s movies are not from a cinematic point of view, like cinematography and whatnot. There's nothing really special about them.
No, not at all.
In fact, there's even one part I was looking at. I was like, I think they're trying to show the difference between her world when she's at home in her own neighborhood with her family. It's like very warm. It's very they use warm colors and a warm palette, a lot of browns, yellows, and reds and whatnot. But when she goes to her school, it's cold.
Yeah,
it's got a blue tint over everything, and sometimes it just feels washed out. Instead of proving a point with it or making a statement, it just feels like, well, I mean, y'all can bump this up a little bit.
Yeah, and when I look at that, I don't know if it's budget or just his lack of what's the word, experience or skill, maybe, because he's not an auteur, but he can get the job done. And this is one of those movies where it's almost, I felt like I was watching him grow as he did it, because the longer the movie went on, the better it got.
Yeah, you know what? I really do like how the movie didn't try to isolate other people, especially white people.
Yeah.
Star, like we said, Star has a boyfriend,
and it's Archie.
It's from Riverdale, man.
Which normally, whenever I look at a little bit of Riverdale, I don't like that actor, but I liked him a lot in this.
Yeah, you know what?
I have to rethink my position on him.
I mean, still, yeah. What's the actor's name? Because I
don't remember his name. But they are good about showing different facets of white kids to say, like, hey, they aren't all just one homogenous bunch of prejudiced assholes.
No, KJ Apa. is the guy's name. I knew I recognized him from somewhere. I don't watch Riverdale, but I know what Archie on the show looks like, and he's way different from that.
Yeah, because his hair is all black. Probably it's natural color.
Yeah, and I like him in the movie. I mean, that's her. That's her boyfriend, and she doesn't have any real guilt about anything. She defends him actually. To the point where she says, "I know y'all think he acting black, but he just goofy."
Yeah.
And
now these motherfuckers over here acting black.
And the other guy that I was really impressed with, who I wish I could see more in the movie before they shot his ass, was Algie Smith.
Poor Algie Smith. Every time he's in a movie, he's getting abused by the cops.
What was that's Detroit?
Yeah. He made 2 movies in both of them.
Brother, you need to make an animated movie or something. Huh?
There's just something about your face that makes a cop want to beat it or shoot it.
Yeah, maybe he should play a cop. They'll still shoot his ass. Yeah, maybe he should play a bullet. Somehow still managed to shoot himself.
But he's very good.
He's very good.
That kid's so full of charisma.
He was so smooth in the movie. And a lot of people like, for that dude, I ain't trying to make no joke. This is a fictional character, but for her white boyfriend, I was like, you better be glad they killed his ass. Because
he's about to take your girl.
He was about to take that. He's probably the white dude's probably want to call the cops. Get him! You're taking my girl. I'm gonna say something that you might not like, Martin, and I'm not trying to make any big issue about this because I do think she's amazing in the film. Amandla Stenberg, I think she's amazing in the film. Now I do wish that they maybe have gotten a darker skinned girl.
Yeah. Well, she's half Danish. And it is when she's a girl like Zoe Kravitz, where in some scenes you'll see her and she looks like a typical black girl. In other scenes you go like, damn, that girl is light skinned.
Yeah.
Are you sure she's black?
Yeah, and that's the thing with casting with Hollywood, like with the book, I think, because if you look at the cover of the book, she's a dark skinned girl, and I really know the girl is great. So I'm not saying she shouldn't have been cast, but I do think it probably would have worked better with the themes that we have here if you had a darker girl.
I know I'm usually here to step in and go like, well, Corey, have you considered this? But this is one of those times where I was thinking the same thing as I watched it.
Yeah, I just think the statement they're making would have been better with because we know this girl's biracial.
Yeah.
And it'd be different if she was depicted as biracial in the movie, but her parents are black.
Yeah.
Her mother is played by Regina Hall, and we just saw her father. Neither one of them is light skinned as she is. No. In Hollywood, I can tell it's a Hollywood thing because Hollywood does this all the time. They cast biracial kids to black parents in their commercials and stuff. And it's like, y'all don't see what we see. We know that this ain't their parents right here.
Right.
But I will tell you, the movie overall, I loved it because it's a movie that tackles, as we said, a very horrifying and a very depressing and heartbreaking subject matter. And this is still, as we said, something about family. Family just like anyone else. Black, white, in between. This movie still makes people feel like the future's good. The movie says there's still hope. It doesn't try to end on some kind of grim thing because that's going to get the message across stronger.
Right.
The thing is, you see things getting better. And the movie wants you to walk away with that knowledge. They don't want to depress you. They want to say, they want to tell you, keep strong. I loved it for that. This is a full price.
It takes you through a lot of things where it doesn't flinch away. It handles these very serious and heartbreaking issues with intelligence and with some humor. That's the thing I would stress to people. Anybody who's watching this going like, oh, I just don't feel like being depressed.
Yeah,
it's not a depressing movie. I mean, sure, the subjects are deep, and while it never made me flat out bawl, I choked up several times. But it's also because it's interjected with humor because they are still a family. Yeah, it's very much a full price movie.
Yeah, like this a lot. I recommend. It's a movie that everybody needs to go see. I know some white people. I ain't seen that black shit. No, you need go see this.
Don't say nothing to me until you see it.
Don't make me get angry. I'll just call the police.
All right, so fair enough.